My name is Carolina, a 40-year-old woman with Colombian roots. People often tell me I carry myself with a kind of grace that turns heads my curves and warm smile, leaving an impression wherever I go. But moments like today, they remind me that grace can sometimes be a fleeting illusion. I pulled into my driveway, balance in the grocery bags on each arm like a circus act. My hands were full, and as I approached the front door, the reality of the situation hit me. I had to find my keys with a sigh. I set one bag down on the step, rummaging through my purse with the precision of a surgeon. Wallet check, lipstick check, sunglasses, another check, but no keys. Panic started to bubble up. I gave the bag one last desperate shake, and as if the keys would magically fall out, they didn't seriously. Carolina, I muttered to myself. Setting the second bag down, I took a step back and scanned the house, trying to think of an alternative. The front door was a no-go, so I decided to try my luck with the back door, maneuvering around the side of the house, careful not to step on the freshly watered grass. I muttered curses in Spanish under my breath as I turned the corner to the backyard. A flash of golden 4 came barely in toward me, Max, I exclaimed, dropping the grocery bags as my Labrador leapt up to greet me, his tail wagging like a helicopter blade. His enthusiasm made me laugh despite my predicament. He always had a way of turning a bad moment into a good one, all right. Amigo, I said, scratching behind his ears when I got home with my hands full of shopping bags. I saw my dog effortlessly squeeze through the pet door in the back. That's when a thought occurred to me. If he can get through, maybe I can too. I put the bags down and crouched down to take a closer look at the small opening. First, I pushed the shopping bags through, and then positioned myself to try and follow him through, but as soon as I tried, I quickly realized that the door wasn't wide enough for my shoulders. I let out a small huff of frustration and leaned back on my knees. That's when it hit me, and I couldn't help but laugh. Oh, right, my panties. It was one of those warm days when I had decided to skip them, to be more comfortable and have a little freedom to play. My light flowery dress fluttered in the breeze, brushing against my thighs as I adjusted my position. Well, that's not going to happen, I muttered to myself, with a smile, realizing that the pet door wasn't an option. I then looked over to the side of the house and remembered the basement window. It's wider than the pet door. I thought I approached the window, which was on the side of the house, and faced directly into a bedroom window of my neighbor's home. The window looked small, but I figured I'd give it a try. I got down on all fours and began squeezing myself through. The thought crossed my mind. Is there some lucky neighbor getting a show right now? The idea made my cheeks flush with embarrassment. Still, it was too late to turn back. I was almost halfway through, but just as I was about to make it inside, I got stuck. I can't believe this, I muttered under my breath. I wiggled from side to side, trying to free myself, but nothing worked. That's when the realization hit me. There was no way I was getting out of this without help. I chuckled to myself, stuck and struggling on all fours when I felt the cold nose of my dog. I tensed, then wiggled, trying to push him away as his warm breath brushed against my skin. His curiosity was piqued by my position, and before I knew it, his head was under my dress. An oh no whispered through my mind as I realized what was happening. My movements only encouraged him more. I needed help, but there was no one to call. I tried to fight back, but he had already made up his mind. I heard a noise and felt someone watching me. I was too stuck to turn around, and my heart raced. As I felt him approach, I thought, oh no, as the situation escalated, his actions unmistakable. As I remained trapped in the pet door, hoping for this ordeal to end quickly. At that moment, I didn't know what to do. Should I scream for help and risk someone seeing me like this? Or should I stay quiet and wait for the situation to somehow resolve itself? I felt an unexpected sensation, Something I couldn't control, my body responding in ways I hadn't anticipated. I could swear someone was watching me, a witness to this strange scene. But my mind was elsewhere, caught up in the wave of sensations. Afterwards, there was discomfort. I heard footsteps hurrying towards me. Someone finally coming to help Mrs. Carolina. "Are you okay?" I heard, with a mix of genuine concern and a tinge of amusement. "Thank God," was my first response, my voice muffled by my position. "Who are you?" I managed to ask, still struggling with my awkward situation. "Jay next door," came the reply, and I felt a surge of relief mixed with embarrassment. It was my 18-year-old neighbor. "Oh, thank God," I exclaimed, though the situation was far from resolved. "Listen, thanks to the dog, are you, trapped?" he asked, his tone unmistakable with humor. "You think," I replied with a laugh, trying to lighten the moment despite my discomfort. "How can I help?" He sounded closer now, and I suddenly realized my vulnerability, not realizing how much he could have seen. "I'm not sure," I admitted, feeling him getting closer. "You, seem to have had a bit of fun, Jay," observed his voice, now teasing what I tensed, realizing that he could have seen it all. That must have been what prompted him to come. "Yeah, it was quite a show," he added, his voice now directly behind me, and I could hear the smirk in his words. "Please help me out of here," I implored him. Jay continued with his mocking tone. "I have a great view from here, don't worry. I left my phone on the floor, and I'll see how to get her out of there." He added, his phone. "I thought this jerk is capable of recording everything. She must be hurt by now," he mused, but I didn't answer because I was still processing everything. "How did she get in there?" he asked, genuinely curious. "Well, I did. Can you get me out, or do we have to break down the windows?" I replied with a bit of anger in my voice. "Well, step back a little and let me see." Jay leaned over, looked through the window, and saw me backing away. Well, maybe if I can get a hand in there, I can get her out," he suggested, reaching in and feeling around. I felt him maneuver his hand on me, and finally, with some effort, he managed to free me. I sat up, breathing hard, my hair and makeup a mess, with Jay still holding me awkwardly. I swatted at his hand more out of frustration than anger, but didn't bother covering myself. "Give a girl a break," I growled. Albeit with a smirk locked out, Jay grinned, releasing me. As he adjusted my blouse and bra, when I nodded, he turned to the window and crawled inside. I took the moment to admire him, giving him a playful slap as he squirmed through the pet door, Harley watching, his own interest still evident. How Jay yelped and laughed, finally entering the house to open the door. "Did you record any of what happened? I want to check your phone," I demanded. He hesitated, then replied, "I'm sorry, from what point did you start?" "Recordings," I pressed everything. He admitted. His answer made my blood boil. "What do you mean, everything's?" I shouted. "You couldn't even help me." "I'm sorry," he repeated, looking genuinely embarrassed. Then, with a deep breath, he added, "It's just, you're the most beautiful woman I've ever seen." And I didn't know what to say. Curiosity got the better of me. I guess frustrated, but also realizing he'd been honest. "Well, thanks for helping me, but you need to delete the video," he nodded and quickly erased it. Then, as he slipped his phone back into his pocket, he smirked and said, "You owe me big time." I was taken aback by his boldness. With a small laugh, I leaned in and kissed him lightly on the cheek. "Someday, I'll pay you back," I said, waving him off and sending him home the moment the door closed. I headed straight to the shower, my mind racing with everything that had just happened. And now I don't even know what to do with the dog. That's my story,